up, guys? So today's video is, I guess it could be slightly controversial, which I tried to steer clear of on my channel for a long time, but was not able to with the video I recently put out a couple months ago. So I decided I wanted to delve into this with you guys and explain it from a business-minded perspective rather than a artistic perspective. So basically today's video is about why bad photographers are successful, popular, or why they can make a ton of money. And the first two reasons, we're just gonna go ahead and throw them out there. If you take pictures of naked women, even if they're not really the best photography, they're gonna be popular. We all know this. So I'm not lumping them into this category. And then the people that barely charge anything. You know, there's a lot of people that complain that, oh, such and such charges $50 a session and blah, 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 and they take business from me. And okay, we're not lumping them into this category either, because they don't even charge enough to sustain themselves, and they can do whatever they want. Like, it's their business, you know, I'm not judging them for that. So I wanna get into why bad photographers can become really successful. And to me, I'm gonna explain, there's a difference between business and photography. And if you are an artist or a photographer, you know what I'm talking about. When you go from that level of being an artist to making it a business, you realize really, really fast that if you're introverted or if you have somewhat of an odd or different personality, you may not get a lot of business. You might have the best photography in your town, but you may not get a lot of business because you are not as relatable. So I want to establish that I do find that there's a difference between professional photographers who are just artists, just photographers in maybe the commercial field and stuff like that, than the photographer, the artist that is also in business for themselves. So let's talk about defining the business-minded photographer, and let's forget about the artist, because if you're on this channel, you're probably on here because you have a business or you want to start a business. And so that's what I want to focus on. So photography to me, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but photography for me is about relationships. It is about how well you connect with and relate to your client or potential client. It is your brand. If you have the best photography in the world, but you are a very clinical, some people might say somewhat rude person, you're not going to get as many clients, and you're not going to get as many people praising your work, because there's nothing behind the work. There's no substance behind the work. Okay, so you had the perfect exposure, the perfect lighting, the perfect composition, the perfect every single little thing. If there's nothing behind it, there's nothing for anyone to relate to. So basically, the first thing that connects you to your client or connects you to your potential client is obviously going to be your website, or where you've shown up on social media, or your online presence, unless you're meeting them in person. But in today's world, someone goes on Google and looks for a wedding photographer, correct? They type in wedding photographer, Charlotte, North Carolina, your name pops up along with other people's names. They click on your site. They're either blown away by the feeling that they get from the entire cohesive statement of your website, or it's a little disappointing. It's like, oh, that's a pretty photograph. Click, click, click. And they don't feel anything from that. Your brand is a feeling, and that's the most important thing. So then they reach out, and they're going to talk to probably 5 people, and you're going to be one of the people that they talk to. So you prepare for your phone call with them or your meeting. I found that a lot of people like to meet on the phone first and then meet in person, and that's fine with me. So the first time I speak to them, I want to find everything out about them that I can. Not only is that going to allow me to provide better services to them when they hire me, but it gives them the perspective that I care about them. It's not me sitting here talking about, well, this is what I do, this is what my team does, blah, 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 blah. I go with you all day long, blah, 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 blah. Now, of course, I do tell them how I work, but the first thing I want to do is know what makes that person tick, or I want to know their love story, or I want to know, if we're having a portrait shoot with a senior session. If they're introverted, I need them to bring some friends, because nothing I say is going to make them laugh and get something genuine out of them. So basically, I get to know the person on the phone as best I can. If it's a wedding consultation, a lot of times we do end up meeting if we're in the same vicinity, and then I can get to know them more and show them some of my products and things like that. But if it's just like a portrait session for a baby or something like that, if the person's not looking for price, they're looking for feeling. It's not photography in the business world is not about what's better or best. It's about who they can relate to. And that is extremely important. You basically need to figure out how you're going to speak to your client visually, how you're going to speak to them, of course, vocally, orally, and in your photographs. A lot of people have said to me, a lot of people have spoken to me about my photographs. This photograph made me feel this way. This particular photograph of mine is not one of the best or better photographs that I've ever done in my life, but there was something behind it that made people feel like, wow, this person gets me, or wow, this person, I need them. So if you're able to capture emotion and evoke emotion while you're shooting, it's really important, because the emotional connection is more important in photography than a wonderful exposure. Now, obviously, as a photographer, I think getting the exposure nailed in camera and without having to edit is the best thing to do. Personally, I don't like to be behind the computer. I don't like to edit. I like to shoot. I like to be out in the world. I like to be, even though I'm introverted, I like to be with my clients and out with people in that respect. I don't like being behind the computer whatsoever or behind a desk. So for me, getting things right in camera is super important. So I'm certainly not saying that you should just wing it and put it in auto or program mode and just do whatever. I'm not advocating that whatsoever. Whatever your skill level is, you need to improve it, just like I do. But I am saying, whatever your skill level is, if you're wanting to go into business at some point, you need to understand that your photographs cannot stand by themselves. You need to represent your photographs. Your personality is so important in getting the clients that you want. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video because I felt like it was really, really important. I just had a discussion with a friend of mine who, and this happens to everybody, okay? Basically, someone had contacted him for pictures, and then they went with somebody else. And he was upset, just like we've all gotten upset over that in the past, I think. Especially in the beginning of us starting businesses or whatever, we can get a little hurt. We can get our feelings hurt, and that's a normal emotion. But basically, he was showing me pictures where this photographer messed up and did all this kind of stuff. And there were a lot of things that I think this photographer could improve on. Just like there's a lot of things I think I could improve on and a lot of things that I think he could improve on. So there were definitely things that she could improve on. But he had trashed her in ways that kind of didn't make sense. And one of the things he said to me was, this is a senior photo, not an art project. And I was like, yeah, it is an art project. It's photography. And I know people really want to separate the two, but it looked to me, he said I was trying to find meaning behind the photographs. And I know that a female took the photographs, and it looked to me like she was trying to display the interests of the senior, which a lot of senior photographers, we do that. If someone's into music, they might want to bring an instrument to have in their senior photo session. Parents love that, and why wouldn't they? So it looked to me like the things that were being done in these photographs were purposeful and not just kind of like random, oh, I'm just going to compose it this way or whatever. But he was just really, really attacking that photographer. And honestly, at the end of the day, I told him, I said, look, there are things we can all improve on, but the mother loved these photos so much that she shared them individually on Instagram. The client is happy. So it doesn't matter who she went with, the client was happy, and that's what matters at the end of the day. When you run a business, when I get my photos, like I will sit down, oh, I could have done that better. Every single photo of mine, I pick apart. If it's 1,000 photos, I pick every single one of them apart so that I can improve myself. But I pick the best ones and hand them to the customer. And at the end of the day, if the customer is happy, job well done. It's a success. You've done well. And I'm not saying that that happens often, that the customer is upset or anything. I'm just saying that, yeah, you may feel like you could have done better and you could improve, but at the end of the day, you have to just take it with a grain of salt, and you have to say, I did the best that I could, and you hand them over to the customer. The best ones, of course, not all of them. But we all have to work within time restrictions. You know, people attacked the royal wedding photographer. I mean, people that call themselves professional photographers going online and bashing this guy. It was awful. I would love to know what they would have done in that situation, because, oh, I would have done this and this. We don't know if the guy had 3 minutes to take 100 photographs. We don't know what happened during the posing. All we know is that these photographs came out, and just like at the end of the day, we don't know what kind of restrictions and circumstances he was working under to get the photographs that he did. At the end of the day, the royal couple was extremely happy with the photographs. So at the end of the day, he pleased his client and was able to get the job done in the amount of time that he had and under whatever circumstances and restrictions were put on him. So anyway, I just really wanted to make this video, talk a little bit about branding and personality, how important it is. Of course, I think all aspects of photography are important, but if people, people wonder all the time, I used to when I started out too with my business, like I would see someone shooting a baby, the face was like dark, there's no contrast whatsoever. And I'm like, well, why does this person get 500 likes on their Facebook and I get 2, and my photograph's like 1,000 times better? And it's because of who I am. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not out there. I'm not this bubbly, happy, oh, let's photograph your baby. Oh my God. I'm not this person. I have a much more laid back approach to things like that. So I'm going to attract a different kind of customer. I'm not going to attract the customer that's all over social media. And now, years later, it's like I understand and I'm happy because I don't have to be on social media. Oh, okay. So in that same thing, I wanted to talk about this photographer in my town. So basically, she's like the photographer here, I guess, before I moved here a couple of years ago. And before I moved here, another photographer had moved here. And I guess it like kind of encroached on her domain. And anyway, this other photographer is actually really good photographer. And the one that had been here for a long time really wasn't. Now she has improved greatly since then. But, and I don't want to say names or the specific town I live in because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But anyway, so this really popular photographer that had been here for a while, we'll call her photographer A, I guess felt threatened and put a post on her business Facebook page trashing photographer B. Now she had a huge platform to do that with because she had thousands of followers, but think about the type of clients. So even though she's a well-known, popular, successful photographer, and pretty bad at that point too, think about the type of clients that she was getting. If she's going to be so negative to post this and mention her name, and she might have even linked it to that other girl's page, I don't know. If she is going to be that rude because she felt threatened, she is going to attract clients that are never, ever going to be happy with anything that she does. They're not going to like the price. They're not going to like the service. They're not going to like anything that she does. And she's probably had to deal with a lot of headache. And anybody that's priced kind of low is going to have to deal with a lot of headache, that's for sure. You got to think about what you put out there and the type of people you want to connect with, the type of people you want to bring in. So yes, there are these photographers that are really, really bad, that are really, really successful. Wouldn't trade my unpopularity with them for a minute because I like my work. I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of what I do. And I'm proud of the relationships that I have made with people. I only accept 20 to 25 weddings a year. So I don't deal with hundreds and thousands of people a year. I only accept 2 to 3 portrait shoots a month. And that keeps my brand, it's in line with my brand because I'm giving you the focus, I'm giving all the attention. In that 1 month, I've got 2 weddings, so I can give all my attention to those people. You see what I'm saying? So basically, who you are online, how you talk to people is all an extension of your business and of you. And you're going to attract clients based on that as well, the type of people that you attract. So just remember that when, with each interaction that you have. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time.